I'm here with Hank Ruff upstairs at the Hi-Fi in Indianapolis.
The green room, you're seeing it all backstage.
Yes, I am. Thanks for inviting me out here
Yeah.
to interview you before your concert tonight. Um, so the last time I interviewed you was summer of 2024.
Wow.
We
Been
did
a
it
year
by
and a half
Zoom.
ago. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we did it by Zoom. Now we're in person finally meeting for the first time. Tell me about the new music sense.
Oh man, we put out. We put out more new music recently than I had in a while since that interview. Honestly, that we did back then. We put out 3 new songs in 2025. So, and plan to put out even more this coming year. So, we put out. I think in February we put out "Love You with the Lights On," the one that we were talking before that mentioned Zach Top. That you like that line. So we put that one out this year. And then a song called "One Thing I Can Count On," one my dad wrote that I just think's a rockin' honky tonk country song. And then we finished out the year putting out a slow ballad called "Last Night I Didn't Dream About You." So a year of new music indeed, for sure.
And what is something, or what's a place that you've been able to perform at in 2025 that's new, or a new state, a new venue? Do you have a particular one that comes to mind?
Oh yeah, we played a show with Trace Adkins. I think this might be my favorite show of the year. We played with Trace Adkins in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at the Follinger Theater, and I mean that place was awesome. It's an outdoor amphitheater, but it's covered, so it's like it feels like it's outdoors. It is outdoors, but it's also covered from the elements in case it does start pouring down rain. Luckily for that show, it was a beautiful day. There was no rain, and we were playing with Trace Adkins. I mean, you can't ask for much more, and he couldn't have been better to us. His whole team was great to us. So that'd be my standout venue from the year.
Awesome. And what is something that you tell young people, maybe about why they should listen to country music or how they should get involved with country music?
Why I tell young people they should listen to country music? You know what? I
feel like it's a dying breed with Gen Z. There's so much rap and even millennials, or like 2000s pop. So why should they listen to country?
I would have fully agreed with that statement about 3 years ago, and I think as AI and just technology becomes, more prevalent and in our music and in every aspect of life, it seems like luckily country music and that human, raw, authentic part of it is hopefully, in my thoughts, it seems like it's making a somewhat of a comeback. So, but young kids that don't like it, what I would tell them, I guess, is that, if they're looking for music that they can really relate to, there's all kinds of when I was in high school and middle school, Brad Paisley was, he's still my favorite, but he was my guy. And he had songs, from a perspective of a kid in high school, heartbroken. And like those songs hit me to the core. When I was hurting, when some girl turned me down, I'd turn on a song called "Letter to Me" by Brad Paisley, and that song would just it would get me out of my my rut, because I was like, I'm not the only one feeling this. So I think for young people, once they kind of realize, hey, these songs are, if I listen to the lyrics and not just the the big beat and the bass, these songs are what I can relate to, and they're talking to me.
And then any advice you'd have for somebody who wants to get involved with country music?
Oh, advice. Just start getting involved. It depends on what it is. If you're trying to play, if you're trying to be in a crew, you just, I guess, you start reaching out to people.
Do you drink a lot of beer to get involved?
I'd be lying if I said that you didn't. If you're over 21, I'd be lying that if I said that it wouldn't help you if you like drinking a cold beer with people. So but much more beyond drinking a cold beer, you just don't be afraid to reach out to people. I think one thing I've realized in country music is that how down to earth and friendly so many of the people are, that if you send a Instagram message, some of them might not even see it, so they won't respond, but ones that happen to open it and see it, they're all in for giving you opportunity, whether it's working on a road crew, selling merch, getting a songwriter, in all aspects of the country industry. I think, you just got to put yourself out there is the key, which, is something that I think people sometimes have a hard time doing.
And people can translate that into the business world too. I have to drop that
It's
in
the
there.
same. Everything's the same, I guess. Yes, you're right.
And I always like to close with a fun question.
Okay.
And for you, since I know you love country music, all types of country music, if you had to pick, and I'm going to give you two names, George Strait and Alan Jackson. If you had to pick one who you would write a song with and one who you would want to take the stage and perform with, who are you picking for each?
Okay. I think for writing a song, I got to go with Alan Jackson because, Alan wrote some of my favorites of his and some of his biggest commercial radio hits. He wrote, Chattahoochee, I'm about 95% sure he wrote it for sure. I think he solo wrote it, but I know he wrote it. And some of those songs are Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning. Alan's writing, it's cool to see an artist that big who also writes a lot of his material, which is what I've tried to do. And I won't lie, I don't always love writing. When I get stuck, it makes me mad when I can't get past a line on a verse or something. But writing with Alan Jackson would be that. And then performing, I mean, I love Alan. Alan is one of my favorites. You can't beat performing with the king of country music, George Strait. So if I ever got to perform a song with George Strait, very few have done it. It's like Willie Nelson, Chris Stapleton, Alan Jackson. There's very few that have actually done a song with George Strait. So I'd love to perform one with the king and write one with Alan, with AJ.
I'm going to completely agree with you on that.
Yeah.
So. Well, Hank, thank you so much for coming on. And in case people missed our first interview, where can people find out more about you?
So on Instagram, it's just my name, Hank Ruff. On Facebook, I think it's also just Hank Ruff, HankRuff. And then
easier to spell than Morgan Wallen.
Easier to spell. Well, sometimes people think it's Rough. I think Ruff, they spell it the way they've known it. So maybe it's not easier than Morgan Wallen. But yeah, so and then TikTok, that's the other main one I use. It's also, I think, just Hank Ruff. So I guess I got lucky. No one had already taken those usernames when I got them. So it's the same on all three.
Amazing. Well, I just want to say one last thing. Yeehaw. And thank you so much for taking time to come on the show again.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.